Thank you again for coming. My name is Jennifer Lansing, and I am your Family School Partnership Coordinator for secondary grades here at GCA. And go on to the next. The first thing before we get started, I just wanted to, if you're new to Jigsaw, you may not be aware that if you click on the little settings button next to your name, it gives you a lot of options that you can choose to customize. If you don't want to hear notifications, you can look at there's different settings for the notifications. There's a step away button in case you have to in case you or your student, if your student's in class and they have to use the restroom, they would use a step away button so the teacher would know that they had to step away for a minute and make sure that they come back as soon as they can. But it is a tool available for students so that teachers aren't just calling their name, wondering where they are. Okay. So the family school partnership coordinator positions, there are one of us for each of the grade bands, and we also have a family school partnership coordinator for service and leadership, and she is here today as well, so you'll get to meet her. And as for ways that we serve you is providing resources and communications, and we also provide these resources and communications to families, whether they have limited English proficiency, English learners. We also recognize the value of parents and how to communicate and work with them as equal partners. We provide school compacts and engagement policies, and we provide meetings such as this one, and then also our evening meetings that we do pretty much almost every month. And we also have parent and student volunteer opportunities and leadership and service opportunities. And so if you look in the group note board, there is a link to our parent calendar. There is a link to this presentation in case you wanted to see it. And there is also the counseling website link there. Okay, so now I would love to introduce your secondary grades principal, Dr. Anglin Taylor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to have you here as part of the secondary grade band. GCA is a school of choice, and I promise you, we do not take it lightly that you chose GCA. So, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much for joining the GCA secondary grade band family. The message that I want to bring to you today is I want you to be comfortable asking questions and reaching out for support. You'll see on the slide here that there are so many people at the secondary grade band level here ready to support you. On this slide here, you can see a list of assistant principals, and all of these assistant principals are charged with serving you. And I am at the top of the list as the principal also charged with serving you. In addition, you have admins and teachers and counselors and FELs. There is such a large team ready and willing to offer you the support that you need. Please don't hesitate to ask if there's anything that you need that we can help you with. The great thing about GCA, and there's not one great thing, there are several great things, is that we do have consistent live sessions Monday through Friday. And I encourage each of you to make sure that you have those cameras open when you're on your live session so that your teachers can interact with you and really guide you through the content. There is a lunch period that lasts an entire hour, which means you'll be able to step away from your computer, enjoy lunch, relax a little bit. And I haven't been in a school system where we get a whole hour for lunch. So I just think that is just awesome. We have credit recovery available, live credit recovery sessions. This is really important. There is free tutoring in all subject areas. Let me repeat that. In addition to all of the people that I just showed you were available to offer you support, on top of that, there is free tutoring for all subjects. It's wonderful. Please don't hesitate to take advantage of it. We have streamlined platforms. Um, Again, all students are required to be on camera in live classes. Also, we want you on camera for MAP and interim assessments. We have dual enrollment, a work based learning program, and you will learn more about those opportunities later. Please make sure you take time to read through the GCA District Handbook, as well as looking at the GCA academic calendar. Both of those items will provide you lots of information that will help you be successful navigating GCA. Lastly, you'll have a chance to look at the secondary grades band compact and the parent family engagement policy, and that will be fully updated by October 11th. I want to leave you with saying, once again, don't be afraid to ask for help. We are here to serve and support you. And I'm extremely proud to be your secondary grade band principal. So, again, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. England Taylor. Okay, so next we're going to discuss the legal guardian or learning coach expectations. GCA students access their learning resources online. So, you guys are going to access as your students, or if you're a student in the room in the Jigsaw room, you're going to be accessing all of your resources online, and you will have faculty and staff to support you your student, but it also is very important for there to be an adult, a learning coach, who's present to supervise and monitor their students' progress throughout the school day and year. So the primary duties of the learning coach include entering attendance daily. That's very important, is to keep your students' attendance updated daily, reading your GCA, any emails that come from GCA. Make sure that you check your email at least every day and answer any of those communications. Completing all paperwork and surveys. You might get things emailed to you that require you to fill something out or respond to something. It's very important that you do that. And also that you're monitoring your students' assignment completion and grades daily. So, it's important you can go in as an observer into Canvas, or you can go straight into your students' Canvas account and look at their grades and look at their assignments and make sure that they are completing them. So, because if they're not completing them on time, they may not be able to, at some point, they'll get points deducted, and then eventually they only have a certain amount of time to do these assignments. If they do it past their due date, it's going to impact their grade negatively. So the other thing is to make sure that your student is attending all of their required live classes, and make sure that they're using their camera, their whiteboard, their polling tools appropriately. So it's important to make sure that your students are engaging with their classes, that they're participating, and that they're contributing to the class, because that is an expectation from the teachers, and it's the best way for everybody to learn. So also monitoring your student when they're taking assessments to make sure they're not getting any additional help. We want to make sure that we understand where each student is. So your teachers need to know what you do and what you don't know. So that's important. Also, reading assessment questions and answers should not be done, because that would be considered helping, and it's not something that's going to give us a true indication of where the student is. Also, please communicate with your student's teacher or counselor or FEL if you ever feel like your student is struggling or needing additional support. So we do have the Tutor Me program, where you can get to live tutoring anytime that you need it, and that's a very great benefit that you have here at GCA. So it's important to take advantage when it's needed. Students who are required to attend live class sessions, they'll be counted absent if they're not in attendance. So it doesn't, regardless of whether the parent goes in nucleus and puts in time, you're still going to be getting an absence if you're required to be in a live jigsaw session and you're not there. And, so you definitely want to avoid getting any unexcused absences. Student expectations. So, for our students, we expect you to have a distraction free learning environment. I know it can be hard sometimes when you're at home and there might be something going on or the TV might be close by, but it's important to be able to stay focused and, not have any of those distractions, not have the TV on or the phone. Make sure that you're focusing on your classes. Some of these go without, having to say, make sure that you're treating others with courtesy and fairness and respecting the school property, participating, like we talked about earlier, using your camera, and then, understanding the school's procedures for concerns, conflicts, and disagreements, attending your classes as required, completing and turning in assignments on time. That's very important, and also participating in state assessments when they're mandated tests. That's extremely important. Being your own advocate. So if you're struggling with something, there are so many employees here at GCA that would love to be able to support and help you, but they're not going to know unless you let them know. So it's important to talk to the teacher, to your FEL, and just, if you're struggling in a subject, the first person you definitely want to talk to is the teacher. And then if you're needing trouble with, like, if you're having trouble with Infinite Campus, you need to get in as a parent, or Canvas, you definitely can speak to your student's FEL, and they'll be able to support you with that. Also, modeling integrity and work ethic. So it's important to do all of the work as it's assigned, and to be focused in class. Asynchronous day expectations. So every once in a while, sometimes GCA may have an asynchronous day. And what that means is that there may not be live class sessions on those days. Teachers, they might record lessons for your students to complete on their own during these times. These days will be marked on your students' Canvas calendar, and your students' teachers will also provide detailed directions prior to these dates. So on these days, you're going to view class recordings. The students will view their recordings, complete the assignments within their calendar and within their modules, and then also reach out to teachers if you have any questions or concerns about any of the assignments. How to access it. So just as like any other day, you're going to log into Canvas and you're going to look at your courses. You're going to choose a content and click on the Jigsaw tab. And then to access the recorded lesson, you're going to select the recorded tab there. And that's where you can see the list of recordings. Student attendance will not be captured in Nucleus for these asynchronous days, so it's extremely important for the legal guardian, the learning coach, to log time for students on those days so they don't get any unexcused absences. We'll talk a little bit more about Nucleus in a minute. So Nucleus. Nucleus is the online application used to enter student attendance time. You're going to be able to check for missing class sessions, and you're going to be able to upload excuses if you ever have a doctor's appointment, or if you have something that you need to enter an excuse for so that you can get the absence excused. You would enter that in Nucleus. Student attendance is also coming automatically from Jigsaw to Nucleus. So you'll be able to see your attendance in Nucleus. And then you would be adding any additional work time in Nucleus that is not taking place within a required live Jigsaw class session. So class must be entered for testing weeks so that you don't get those unexcused absences like we talked about. And then you would contact who would you contact about any attendance questions? That would be your attendance specialist. You will get an email, or you may have already, from your attendance specialist. That's the person who you should contact for all attendance or absence related questions. So they can be contacted directly from within your Nucleus account or via email or telephone. for students with an IEP. For students that have an IEP, if they receive special education services, the school will meet with the parent, legal guardian, learning coach, required team members, and the student where applicable for an IEP intake meeting. It's important that all special education related documents go to special education records at georgiacyber.org. And as soon as possible, the school will hold an IEP intake meeting, and the parent, legal guardian, learning coach will receive an invite via email. And the meetings are held in Zoom and must be accessed from a non student device. But if you have any concerns about that, please reach out to the case manager. Also, it's important for parents, to attend so that we can review your students' most recent IEP and accommodations, services, and courses they'll be taking. And then after the intake meeting, the student schedule may be updated. Who does what around here? So there are a lot of us here to help you and guide you, through GCA and through learning, at the beginning and then also throughout the year, to support you. So the student's homeroom teacher, they do IA and MAP testing. They meet with students daily. They're a friendly face for kids and a resource for general school questions. Updates They update students on changing processes, school calendar, etc., and help students plan for success and prepare for learning. The FEL helps with Canvas, helps support parents and facilitates communication, facilitates the Strong Start course, collects signatures and assists with compliance, and reinforces school expectations and processes. The counselor creates the schedule and outlines the expectations for graduation. Counselor is the only authority on grade level placement and credits. So any questions that you have on, your grade level placement, credits, those would go to the school counselor. And also they do talk about college and career planning. They create the ILP, the individual learning plan. They provide social and emotional support to students. And then lastly, here we've got FSPC, and that would be your secondary FSPC. Like I said, each grade band does have an FSPC to send newsletters. So I will be sending out secondary grades newsletters, facilitating sessions like these, and also parent meetings and district town halls, our evening meetings that we have here at GCA. Getting connected. There are going to be so many opportunities for for parents and learning coaches and also students to be connected here at GCA. We have student clubs, and in a minute we'll talk a little bit more in detail about some of the clubs and honor societies. So there are so many great opportunities, for students to be able to participate and grow as leaders as well. So clubs are led and moderated by GCA faculty and staff members, and they mentor and guide student participants. We also have virtual innings. So there are going to be some things that you can do virtually and also things out in the community. And so if you look at the parent calendar, you can see, a lot of those events that are going on and you could even now, I believe September is up. So it's important. A lot of those events, they fill up quick. It's important to go ahead and check out the calendar and see if there are any events that you're interested in and go ahead and register for them as soon as possible. So for parents and learning coaches, we also have opportunities to be involved. The PTSO has volunteer opportunities and fundraising. And then also the Parent Advisory Council has opportunities for parents to be ambassadors and provide input that impacts our students and families. Okay, so contacting the school, best practices. So I'm not going to say don't call the school because you can absolutely call the school. But the best way to probably be able to contact and get a fast response would be email. So because teachers are in classes until 3:30 every day. So if you call a teacher during the day, it's likely they're probably in class. They won't be able to answer. So you may want to send an email with what your question is. That way they can get back to you as soon as they can. But you can call, and the number is here on the slide. If you do need to call, the main phone number is there, and then extension 6 is for the high school. So here is your bell schedule. So as you can see, there are 7 periods. You do have a full lunch hour, just as Dr. England Taylor was talking about. So you do have that time for lunch where you can, take a break and you go for a walk if you need to, step away from the computer. It can be, if you have classes all day long, it can be nice to take a little break. So you can see the schedule here on the screen. And like I said, if you want to see this presentation, if you want to save it for later to refer back to it, all you have to do is look in our group note board, and there's a link to this presentation so you can see it. So you can view your student schedule in Infinite Campus and make sure that your students following their schedule every day. It's important, your student schedule is driven by the transcripts received from the previous school. So if you have any questions or requests, it's important to contact your counselor. Also, you can access the GCA website for Infinite Campus login and use instructions. Here is the GCA counseling directory. So to find, the counselor, you would, I have a link to the counseling site, and you can look there for more information to be able to find your student counselor as well. The department calendars. So here on our website, so you go to georgiacyber.org, you will be able to find calendars, and we have all of the department calendars, and we have you can be able to see them all on the calendar at once if you click on all calendars and events, and you'll be able to get the information that you need if you want to find if there are any events in the community that you're interested in, or any parent meetings. Those would be on our calendars as well. How do you log in? So this sequence ensures that your attendance is counted accurately. You're going to go to Clever first. Once you go into Clever, you're going to find the Canvas logo and click on that. And then once you're in Canvas, you can go to your courses and you can access Jigsaw there. Okay, so now I would like to introduce Michelle Gilliard, and she is our Family School Partnership Coordinator for Leadership and Service. And so I'd like to turn it over to her.
Hi, to our GCA secondary grade families. It is wonderful to see you all today. It is Thursday, right? We're over hump day, so we're into Thursday. One more day before the weekend, right? So really quickly, just want to tell you, GCA offers the majority of service and leadership clubs that you may have been exposed to in your brick and mortar environment. We have student council, a student advisory council. Just a quick difference between those two. Student council, you're elected by your peers to serve more of doing the cultural experience for the school, whereas student advisory council are students that we actually pose questions. So how are we doing? So around time when we're doing testing, or around times when we're loading out new platforms, or you're being introduced to new platforms, we may ask questions of you on how that went. We have Beta, National Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society. We also have our Spanish National Honor Society, FBLA, DECA, TSA. I mean, I could just go on and on. We did have our open house yesterday for all of our service and leadership clubs, and I'm converting those videos into our GCA YouTube channel so that when I send that out to you all You can watch it no matter what your language is. You can turn on closed captionings and you can see that in your preferred language. So again, that recording will go out at some point tomorrow to all of our ninth through 12th grade students. And that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your Thursday.
Thank you so much. Okay. We're going to continue and talk about Learning Coach Live Help. So Learning Coach Live Help is a great resource for learning coaches to be able to get help with anything, any questions that you might have. So we are there. If you look at the presentation screen, we have the date. So it is past that August 15th. So you're going to look at that second box, and it says from August 15th through October 19th, Monday through Wednesday from 12 to 1. We are there. And so you'll be able to look at the parent calendar, and you can find the link to our Learning Coach Live Help sessions on the parent calendar as well. If you need help with attendance, if you're having trouble getting into Nucleus, if you have any questions about Nucleus, the attendance specialists are there to support you at Nucleus Live Help. And again, if you look at from August 15th through March 29th, 2023, they're there from Monday through Wednesday from 12 to 12:45. And you should be able to find that link within your parent Jigsaw account. You're in Canvas as your observer, or as in your student's account as well. So we had our district town hall meeting on August 11th, and the recording you can access by going to the parent calendar if you're interested in watching. We also had an advanced and gifted parent meeting with just informational about how we serve advanced and gifted students. And so that is also located on the parent calendar. If you go to the date that it was held, and you can also, like I said, you can download this presentation and access the links to the parent calendar from there. Our copyright, piracy, and literacy training will be on September 8th. And so there's some important information in that meeting talking about, the harms of copyright piracy. So if you want to join us, then that would be September the 8th from 6 to 7:30. We will also have the recording of the session if you're not able to make it, and we will put that on the parent calendar after the fact as well. Curriculum night. Curriculum night is September the 1st from 6 to 7:30. I believe it might be a little longer. It might actually be till 7:41. But those, if you are interested in attending curriculum night, you can go to the parent calendar and look on September the 1st, and you can be able to find the links that and the information about what to do on curriculum night. Our next parent meeting and parent university is going to be on September the 13th. And so, we would love it if you joined us for that meeting from 6 to 7:30 on September the 13th. Ms. Gilliard already talked about a secondary grades book club's open house. And that recording, as she said, will be sent out to everybody here shortly, and so that you can get more information about any of the clubs that you might be interested in. Okay, well, that concludes our presentation, and on behalf of your secondary grade staff, we are looking forward to a great year with you, and so we hope that your first week goes really well next week. And now, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand or put your questions in the chat.